Good morning. I am going to show you in this video how to create a web page which puts up some text, decorates the text, and performs some actions on it. So like when you click on it, something will happen. Before going through the process, I am going to show you somewhat of the end result. But I should introduce this video by saying that I'm using an online HTML editor, jsfiddle.net. There are several fairly good online editors, and there are other offline editors. In any case, you don't want to develop HTML, JavaScript, and things like that without using some kind of program editor, which highlights the tags and shows errors and things like that, tidies up your code. For example, it says tidy here, and suppose well, it's already been tidied up, so I don't know if this is going to be very interesting, but run it anyway. Yeah, doesn't make any difference. But suppose I had delete. Now that will run perfectly all right, but the recommended settings, the recommended formatting is different. This kind of formatting makes it hard to detect errors, and it's ugly to look at. So I'm going to save that and then tidy it. And as you can see, it went back the way it was. Now what does this look like? Well, I'm going to run it. It says hello world. And I'd like to put an exclamation mark on these things when I can, but in this case I'm not going to bother because I'm going to recreate all this stuff. Okay, so delete this, and delete this, and run. You get nothing there because there's nothing there. Now, if you want to just put some text on the screen, you don't actually need any of these tags which you saw briefly on the screen. You could just put in hello world, exclamation mark, run, and there you have it. But you need the tags so you have a target for the styles. This is the style section, and if you put in an HTML tag, HTML standing for Hypertext Markup Language, you get something like this. Most of the programs will automatically put in the end div, and then we cut, paste, and let's see what happens if we tidy it. Yeah, it does an indentation. And we run it, and nothing happens because there is no styling attached to that particular div, but now we can attach styling as follows: div, curly braces, color, colon, red, and you're supposed to terminate these statements here with semicolons. And then we want to increase the font size. Font size, oops, colon 24 point, and I'm going to tidy that so it's easier to look at, and you can see the coloring that's put in here, 24 point, to tell that's a description of the font size, and the divs are in blue. Run. Hello world. Update just saves things. Okay, so we have a little program or HTML file. This is the sort of thing you load in a browser. This is what would show up in the browser. So what do we do next? Well, we want, when we click on it, something to happen, so we're going to go and put in some scripting. First of all, I'm going to say document dot get element by elements by tag name and I'm going to pick up all the elements with the div tag. There's only one such div now, so that's perhaps not very interesting. And I am going to define a variable x equals, and I'm going to tidy that to see what happens. And as a matter of fact, there's an error in here which it didn't pick up because it probably doesn't matter. And I'll show you that later. I've left off a semicolon, and let's see what this diagnostic gives us. So then we have x of 0 being the first div, the only div, dot on click. JavaScript helpfully defines an on-click property or method to attach to divs, so you click on them, something will happen, but you've got to tell it what is going to happen. Function of x of 0 dot text content. Text content, x of 0, the text content property just refers to what's between the divs, the text in here. And we want to make that farewell cruel world. And then we want to do another tidy. As you can see, the tidy does something here. It doesn't pick up the error, the lack of semicolons. It will run anyway, because often the JavaScript interpreters will ignore the lack of semicolons where it's obvious they should be there. Just puts them in and run. And you see, don't see any change, but if I go click, it turns to farewell cruel world, just as I said. And I'm going to put in the semicolons here, here, and here, since they belong. And now I'm going to create another div. And this is going to be Bonjour le monde. And tidy. And we want to run this. And hello world, bonjour le monde, click. Bonjour le monde, nothing happens. Now, in the case of the first one, we might want to flip it back to hello world when you click it again. That's just a matter of changing the function definition. But before I do that, I will define a clicker for the second element. Control V, and some of you will be able to figure out what this is. 1, 1, Control S, no, update. And this should be changed to, well, let's just run it the way it is, where it's not really probably what you want. And hello world, change to farewell. Bonjour le monde, also farewell cruel world, which is probably not what you want. You want it in French. Adieu. Hardly matters, but there's the update and run. Now click Adieu Monde Cruel. Okay, so that's what I said I was going to do, and there's one more thing to do. Make it flip back to the original text. For that, we're going to need an if statement. If x of 0 dot text content equal, use double equal sign for comparison, double or triple equal as a matter of fact, and a single equal for an assignment. So text content equals hello world. Then we want this here. We want it to change to farewell cruel world. And we want to move this, Control X, Control V. And then we want an else statement. And I'm introducing you to this if-then-else construct just by illustrating it. And we want to go copy, paste, and this then should be hello world. So the logic of the thing is you check whether the text content is hello world. If it is, then you change to farewell cruel world. If it's not hello world, then you change it to hello world, which is good enough in this case. Tidy. And it's easier to see what you're doing then, and you even get some marking, like this left brace is matched with this left brace is matched with this, so it looks right, and there's no semicolon after the if, so I won't put one in, and